Milan's really important. I think it's mainly a cultural connection. It's obviously there's a commercial aspect to it. I think we're launching 4 or 5 pieces this year, but I think it's the epicenter of where all the action starts for the furniture industry. And although there are shows all around the world, Milan still it's the magnet. I think the fair has become incredibly focused on marketing. So I think what becomes interesting is the fringe activities. 20 years ago I think there was more diversity, I think there was more experimentation, and now it seems to be dominated by a very small number of companies that really control so much of the publicity, they control so much of the activity, they're the parties that everybody wants to go to. But actually if you dig deeper, the real interest is still there beneath the surface, and I think it just takes a little bit of tenacity to hunt out the interesting things. Those things will always survive. I have seen remarkably little this time. I spent a day at the fair yesterday in meetings with clients, so I saw a few products there, but very little. And the only thing I've seen today is matter of perception. I think the exhibition that the students had done about misery was just spectacular, and I think it was particularly interesting because in design, in a way, we use history, but we always look forwards. We try to create utopian solutions, utopian structures. We believe in making things better. And actually, I think we can only do that if we understand the alternative, which is how bad things can be, or what makes us feel unhappy, what makes us feel miserable. And of course, in art, there's a continual process of investigation, exploration and recording of the dark side of human nature, the failures. And I think design doesn't record failures. Design is all about success, it's all about productivity and progress. But actually, unless you understand failure, I don't think you can be a designer either. So for me, this was a very interesting exhibition that involved architecture students. Because it was a reflection of the reality, and only by doing that can I think you really instigate change. I'm going to refer a little bit back to your first question. I think in terms of the topic of the fair being just a marketing event, I'd like our design to transcend fashion, in the sense that hopefully it brings something to the market which isn't about fashion, it has a timeless aspect. So there's a kind of authentic positioning, reasoning. How we got there is through thinking about the problem rather than trying to apply something into a situation. So I think in a way what we're trying to do is continually investigate what the archetype is, or what the function is, and how it affects the user. What the outcome is, we don't generally know. So it's often quite calm, the outcome, but I think that's part of its success. I've come today to see the Hans Wagner exhibition, which is truly breathtaking. The pieces are such a beautiful marriage between technology and craft and the understanding of a material being wood. They're pieces of magic. Wagner's a particular hero of mine. I think the ability he had to create beauty with structure is unparalleled, really. I worked as a cabinet maker for a few years, and so my love of wood really grew with the process of using it. It's a material that feeds back, so you have to look at the wood, you have to feel it and understand what it's going to do. It has a grain, it has a life, and if you fight against that, you can never get it to work for you. And I think looking at the exhibition upstairs, you really understand how not only as a designer he understood implicitly what could be achieved, but those craftspeople have interpreted that in the most eloquent and sophisticated way. I mean, they're sheer objects of art. I think what makes him as a designer so special was his, I think, pure talent. I think his sense of form and aesthetics and proportion was in a different league, really, to a lot of what we see today. If you look at the chairs from any angle, they're exciting, harmonious and balanced. And that's a real rarity. There's also intrigue and interest in all the views. So the details are both calm and energetic. There's interest, but it's an interest you don't get tired of. You can continue to enjoy looking at those complex features. And that's a very interesting dynamic to be able to create. Quite often, if there's too much detail, it becomes tiring. These objects never become tiring.